I used to work at a Chuck E. Cheese as a janitor. I live in a small town in Michigan and could barely afford an apartment. 2 months ago, a 10-year-old boy went missing. It was on the news, it was everywhere. 2 weeks ago, I clocked in at about 4 and started my usual cleanup. 3 hours later, the place was closed down for the night, which meant I was the only one in the building right now. I was cleaning the game section right by the dog pound game in the aisle. As I was cleaning, I swear I heard some sort of scraping, but it was muffled. I looked around confused onto what had made the noise. Nothing out of the ordinary. I continued to clean for another 5 minutes. Then I heard it again. I had to see what was causing the sound. It was my job after all. I searched the entire building for about 10 minutes. Then again, the sound was louder now. I started to wait until I heard the sound again. Then I heard it. I couldn't find a possible source to the sound, so I just cleaned until midnight and clocked out. The next day, I told my boss about the noises, and he didn't seem too concerned. I started my shift as normal and cleaned until about 7 when everyone left. I took a 20-minute break and still not heard a single sound. I resumed cleaning, I'd say around 10:40. I heard the scrapes again. It resembled more of a shuffling than a scraping. Whatever, I thought. My boss told me not to worry about it. I kept cleaning. The shuffling continued, and it was actually getting quite loud to be something like a pipe. I noticed it was the loudest, right in the middle of the fourth aisle. The floor was carpet, so I had no idea where the sound was coming from. At 12 o'clock midnight, I clocked out. The next day, I just walked into work and started my usual cleaning. I was so distracted by cleaning that I didn't even notice the shuffling. When I finally did, I decided I would find out what the sound was. I had to. It was driving me insane. I went to the fourth aisle and noticed that I could move the rug and see the actual floor. So I moved the rug and was able to see the floor. The floor had a latch door that you had to open with a key. I found the key in my boss's office and unlocked it. The scent of a putrid smell filled my nostrils. I jumped back and started to gag. I walked back to the door, holding my nose, and then I realized that it was like 10 feet deep. I grabbed a ladder from the back storage room and went down there. I heard something like a grunt, like an angry dog chewing on a bone. I realized that I was in a small room with a little doorway arched to another room. That was where the sound was coming from. I took out my cheap-ass pocket flashlight and started walking towards the sounds. Now these sounds were actually scaring the fuck out of me. But curiosity got the better of me and I slowly walked in. I saw a silhouette of someone. Something, as I should say. I aimed my flashlight at the silhouette. At that moment, I literally jumped out of my skin for what I saw. I saw some big creature that was really tall and skinny. It was gray and brown and had very long arms compared to the rest of its body. It just looked at me with white and wide glowing eyes. It was eating something. It was a person. I ran as fast as I could, with the entire encounter lasting maybe half a second. I climbed up the ladder as fast as I could. I ran straight out of the restaurant and drove home. I called the police, and I had to come back because they needed more details. They told me that there was no creature down there, that they would identify who was down there. 2 days go by and I was watching the news. It covered everything and even found out that that person was identified as the 10-year-old boy that went missing just 2 months earlier. The Chuck E. Cheese was shut down. And so was my job. Now every once in a while, I think back on it. And even sometimes I think about what could have happened if I stayed down there for a second longer.